As you can see, I'm at the airport right now, which is fitting as Steven requested me on Patreon to review The Terminal. This occupies an interesting spot in Steven Spielberg's filmography, as it's one of the rare comedies he has directed. He's made films with comedic elements, and plenty of his action-adventure films, like the Indiana Jones series and The Adventures of Tintin, have an occasionally light-hearted tone. However, when it comes to pure comedies, 1941 and The Terminal are the only ones. Spielberg said he chose to make The Terminal not only because of the possibilities of the story, but also to uplift audiences with something that would make them smile and laugh. And I think he succeeded with this film. It's such a brilliantly simple premise, as it follows a man named Victor Dvorsky who ends up living in an airport terminal. The terminal was actually inspired by the true story of a man named Alfred Moran, who wound up living in the Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris for 18 years due to some immigration issues. Spielberg and DreamWorks compensated him quite handsomely for the rights, and then went off in their own direction. There are multiple reasons why The Terminal works. First and foremost is the lead protagonist, as played by Tom Hanks. It would have been so easy to go for the fish-out-of-water approach when depicting a foreigner dealing with this unusual situation, and just have him partake in a bunch of goofy gags. Victor instead becomes a fully fleshed-out individual. Filmmakers are quick to show how upset he is at the political turmoil going on in his home country. He's a fully grown adult who frequently uses his smarts when solving a problem, and he tries his best to make do with living in the airport for several months. There are certainly a lot of funny scenes, but a lot of the laughs come from the smart dialogue, the way Spielberg uses the location, and the sincerity with which Hanks plays the role. There are also a lot of humorous scenes with the main antagonist, Frank, the airport commissioner, played by Stanley Tucci, who frequently attempts to get Victor out of the airport without inconveniencing himself. The film uses the terminal setting to help move the narrative forward in several scenes, like when Victor realizes he can get money by returning the baggage cars. The sentimental scenes also work nicely as we see Victor's blossoming friendship with a flight attendant named Amelia. Hanks and Catherine Zeta-Jones have really nice chemistry, and it's sweet seeing the way they both help each other out. I have to praise the airport set constructed for the film. Built in a massive hangar, production designer Alex McDowell did an excellent job of creating what looks like an authentic terminal. Everything from the seating lounges to the different shops to those departure signs that tell you whether your flight is delayed or on time is represented. The terminal is also a film that justifies the large amount of product placement, as it would not be a real airport without a Starbucks or a Burger King. The many extras we see walking through the terminal adds to the authenticity too. John Williams' score further plays an important role, the main theme representing Victor perfectly and featuring an appropriately Eastern European sound. Williams makes especially good use of the clarinet, a favorite instrument of his. While The Terminal is primarily a light-hearted comedy, Spielberg does comment on the immigration process. The film takes aim at the American immigration policy through the character Frank and how he makes it more difficult than it needs to be. Something that's been a frequent topic of discussion these past number of years is the need for more diversity in Hollywood films. Looking at The Terminal, this film is really ahead of the curve there, as the employees working in the airport are Black, Latino, Asian, Indian, and other ethnicities. Spielberg did this because the film is set in a New York airport, and logically you would see people, different races and nationalities, working there, and many of them are not just background characters. These become important friends and allies for Victor, and it's heartwarming seeing him become a respected member of this airport community. Overall, The Terminal works as a touching and funny comedy in the Frank Capra tradition, and another example of what makes Spielberg a director with an impressive ability, jumping from one genre to the next without losing that spark of creativity. Thank you for the request, Steven, and if you'll excuse me, I have a flight to catch.